I reached a C1 level as a self-taught English learner. No professors, no school. In this video, I will teach you 5 things that I did to go from intermediate to advanced level in English and achieve the fluency that I now have. I'm Kayla, let's go. Before I start, I want to give you a little bit more context about myself and my English journey. I started learning English on my own in 2018, or formally educating myself as I like to call it. Before that, I already had experience with everything that I learned in high school, basic vocabulary, verbs, the numbers. When I started actually willingly studying English, I used the book Essential Grammar in Use, which is a book that I always recommend here in my channel and all my social media. And apart from that, I also started doing everything in English. I thought that I was a native and I was doing everything in English. Literally everything. Watching shows, reading books, listening to music, etc. And with those resources, I reached an intermediate level in about 8 months. I already have an entire video in Spanish about how I reached this level and everything about my journey to learn English with this book and also the other activities that I was doing. And you can watch that video on the card above somewhere here. In that video, I'll go more in depth. This year, 2024, I took an IELTS test just to see how my English was. And I scored a band A out of 9, which is equivalent to a C1 level. I admit that I didn't know and I didn't even care about my English level. I just knew that I was able to communicate and that I understood everything that other people said to me in every situation, so I was comfortable with my English. But at the same time, I wanted to know what level I had. I was curious. So I took that IELTS test and right now I feel like it was an amazing step that I took. It not only showed me what I was capable of and also, and even more important, elevated my confidence. I was able to speak English more freely and be confident that my English was okay, and even led me to share my experience here in social media so I can give motivation and tell people that it's possible to learn English. So if you're looking to boost your confidence, I will totally recommend taking an English test. Now, what did I do to go from intermediate to advanced level? Number 1, you have to push and challenge yourself. This applies to language learning and mostly everything in life. When I was learning English, I always tried to do things that weren't easy. If subtitles were making watching shows too easy, I turned it off. If understanding American English was too easy, I switched to other content with British or Australian accent, or even any other accents that were not native. If daily topics were becoming easy, I explored other topics like science and things that I didn't understand even in Spanish. I challenged myself. And believe me when I say that it was a struggle. It wasn't easy. It doesn't have to be easy. And honestly, it was quite frustrating. It's something that you're not good at and you're struggling. It is extremely frustrating to watch a show that you don't understand, for example. But when you keep practicing, those challenges become easy. And you start to see the growth. You feel very good with yourself. It's like a cycle. First, the struggle, you get frustrated, you practice, it gets easy, and then you have to find the next thing to struggle with. You have to find the next challenge. So if you are currently at that point where you find the things that you are doing to learn English too easy, you can make your life a little bit miserable by complicating things for you. Doing more complicated things to improve your English. It will be annoying at first, but it's worth it. Thing number 2 that I was doing, I was using English every day, all day. I put Spanish to the side and I started doing everything in English. And this is especially important if you are living in a country where English is not the first language, where you don't surround yourself with English every day, which was my case. And to compensate, I changed my environment, the environment that I can control, to be in English. My phone was in English, I watched YouTube videos in English, the shows that I watched were in English, everything that I read was in English, Google searches, computer, thoughts, notes, and this ensured that I was always practicing and learning English. You absorb English in the process and you start to learn new things. And this is a great activity, but it has to be combined with the third thing, that it is using English with other people. Now, how am I going to use English with other people if I live in a country where English is not the first language? It can be hard. It can be really hard. It was very hard for me. But nowadays we have a huge advantage with the internet. We can find anything there. There are endless apps to practice English with other people. In my case, I didn't use an app, but I found a remote job for a company in the United States. And that was the way that I got to practice my English every day and with others, with daily meetings, writing emails, reading content, like a normal job, but I was doing the job in English. If you have that opportunity, I will totally recommend you take it. You're not only going to advance your English, you're also going to make a little bit of money. And regardless of what you think, a B level is enough, in my opinion, to start working for a company in the United States. I had a B level and I didn't have any problem communicating. Of course, this will depend on the company and if they accept you with that level, but for me, it wasn't a problem at all. As long as you can communicate and you understand what they're saying, there's always going to be an opportunity for you. Now, if you don't want to follow this path, it's understandable. You can still and should practice your English with other people. I would recommend taking advantage of apps like Episoden, which is a platform that connects English learners so they can practice their English in conversations. Or if you have a friend, a family member that speaks English or is also learning English, you can connect and you can start communicating. No matter the path that you choose, you have to speak English with others. And I know it's scary. It's incredibly frightening, but it has to be done. And this is the way to improve other skills that are needed in communication, like confidence. And no matter how much you talk alone, you need to speak with others to actually create that confidence. And you have no idea how important it is to produce good English. So don't skip it, please. The fourth thing that I did, the fourth thing that you actually need to know is that it takes time. And more than a practical advice, this is a mentality that I want you to have and something that I want you to understand. It takes time. It took me more time to go from intermediate to advanced than to go from beginner to advanced. It's easy to make progress when you are a beginner because there are so many things to learn. And even the smallest thing can improve your English. But when you go from intermediate to advanced, it's the refinement of those things that you already know that is going to get you to that advanced level. So, reaching an advanced level takes time. In my case, it took me 4 years to achieve that C1 level. 4 years of using English every day and making it my whole life. Not study, but finding that refinement in everyday use. Can it be quicker? Probably. But either way, you have to know that becoming an expert at anything takes time. You cannot expect to go from A2 to C1 in 2 months, and if you do, you're probably a genius. And thing number 5, I never stopped learning, and I haven't stopped yet. 6 years into learning English and there's still so much to learn. Just imagine all the things that you still don't know about your native language, and you have 15, 20, 30, 40 years knowing your native language. It's actually crazy how much there is to learn. And when you learn a second language, you have to be curious. You have to always be asking yourself, why is this and why is that? You see new vocabulary, research it, learn how to use it, and start using it in your life. If you don't know the difference between two expressions or two words, research it. There is so much knowledge still out there that you can acquire. And those things that you learn is what is going to take you to that advanced level. And of course, knowing how to use those things. Those are the 5 things that I did to go from intermediate to advanced. Additional to the things that I already did to go from beginner to intermediate, which you can see in the video in the card above. I didn't continue studying with books, I didn't attend any college, and I didn't seek any professor to help me improve my English. Everything I did by my own means. I used the language every day, and most importantly, I enjoyed the journey that I was taking. I was enjoying every single activity that I was doing. I love learning English. I hope my advice is helpful and can make you realize that you can also reach the level that you want as a self-taught learner. If you like this video, please leave a like, and you can also subscribe for more content. I will keep doing my videos in Spanish, and occasionally I'm going to also do videos in English like this one. This is everything for today. I hope you like it, and bye-bye.